What's happening, guys? Kenny within the pocket, and today I've got another on my mind video. And first things first, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Super Steel Steve. Dude, you're awesome. Just that little shout out you did for me got me like 15 subscribers overnight. It really means a lot to me. And if you are subscribed to me and haven't subscribed to Super Steel Steve, you need to get on that because he does some great testing on different steels, and he's really just rocking the knife world with these testings. And we hear a lot about compositions on steel, and you can read all you want on steel, but until it comes to fruition, until you see it done in a knife, and then see it perform at the heat treat they're doing, it means nothing. Like all this talk, it's all theory until guys like you test it, Steve. So thanks a lot for everything you do, man. I know how much time it takes. It takes a lot, and yeah, I just really appreciate everything you do, man. And yeah, and everyone should. So today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about factory edges and why I believe that they are important. I know that a lot of guys are like, hey, I don't care if my factory edge is horrible, because I'm going to sharpen it anyways. I don't care. It can come dull, and I'll just sharpen it up. Yeah, I believe that's true in a way, and I do sharpen my own knives, so I really don't mind when they're not amazing edges, because I know I can just fix it. But do I want to fix a knife that just came out of a box? No. And do I think that should be necessary? Fuck no. I think that that's ridiculous. When I'm spending almost $200 or $200 on a knife, or even $60 on a knife, I'm sorry, it should be sharp. It's a knife. And at the same time, it's like, I just bought this thing. I don't want to have to do work on something I just got. So, yeah, I mean, there's more to that as well. I mean, there's more to that factory grind than just, is it sharp or not? Now, would I rather it be a dull factory grind that's really obtuse, rather than a knife that's ground horribly and that I have to now remove steel to make it right and all? Yeah, of course I'd rather have a knife that they don't even sharpen. Just leave it straight up dull from the factory. Just do that if you're going to fuck it up. Yeah. Definitely don't want them to do that. But do I want it to be dull? No. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you what I'm talking about a little bit, and then I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of slack, or I know that some guys are going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, okay? Yeah, here are just some knives that I have that still have the factory edges on them, and I mean, really all of these knives have been done very well. You guys just saw the unboxing or first impressions of this guy. You can see the factory grind is absolutely perfect. I mean, both sides are very even. There's no weirdness, especially back here. There's no weirdness because they did a nice sharpening choil that actually is a really good finger choil. But yeah, that is excellently done. And definitely very sharp. This is the recycle paper I always show you guys. Oh god, I have like no hair on my arms from sharpening and all that and doing these videos for you guys. So yeah, very sharp, very nicely done factory edge. And actually, all of these knives, you are gonna pretty much see the same thing. This one's a little bit uneven right here. You can see it kind of goes from broad to a little narrower here to another broad at the tip. This side's a little better. This side's a little narrower than this side, but very sharp. but not as sharp as that guy. Having a hard time with this paper compared to that guy. But still, very sharp. This is perfectly fine, guys. This is not what I'm talking about. Yep. And then this guy, you probably just saw the unboxing of this. Very well done on the grind on this guy. A very long blade too, and it's all very even. The only part that you can even complain about is right here, where it doesn't quite go all the way back. But again, I'd rather them do that than tear up the plunge grind or something trying to get back there. I know why they do that. They do that so that when you come and sharpen it, you can bring it all the way back. You can create a sharpening choil. You can go however you want. You know, you could do a notch there for the sharpening. You can go however you want with that. Then again, very good. Very good. Nice and sharp. Very sharp and sticky. Rex 45 does get that sticky edge, and they have accomplished it here. See it popping the hairs off very well. Yeah. So another very sharp knife. And again, you guys know I had one of these before, and yes, the knife so nice, I bought it twice. I had to get a new one. And I actually, when these came out, I liked it a lot better than the blue version with the satin blade. And it wasn't their horrible black coating. It was like this DLC type coating. So yeah, I had to get it. And this one has really good action with perfect lockup. It was really stiff at first. It's not like a drop shut type of action like a lot of the Benchmade Axis locks. This one's not either, like this guy. Yeah, swinging free. This isn't like that, but I'm not expecting it to have a solid lockup, and this one is perfectly fine. Like, it's very easy to function. I can swing it out by the Axis lock. That's all I'm asking for. If anyone saw the last video with my last bug out, that thing was awful. I had to tighten it so tight that you could barely move it with 2 hands to get the thing open and closed. Yeah, I ended up selling that guy and was very honest with the person when I sold it. But yeah, this is very good. Not perfect centering, but close, very close. So I'm okay with this, and I really do love this knife, so I did have to get it again in, you know, this type. And if I didn't like the one I got the second time, I would have sold it again. And I really am, and you know, I love this knife. It's just, it was a bummer that they can't get it right the first time. And then again, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even talk about the blade grind. Excellently done. Nice job, Benchmade. Very well done. And they left a lot of blade here, very thin behind the edge, and very sharp. I know, I don't really have any bad examples on the table here. Show you guys this. Here's an example of something that I got this Real Steel Griffin. It's the E775 Griffin. Yeah. This is a knife I just got, and the factory edge, when I got my Metamorph, it had a pretty good factory edge and good factory grind as well. This one's got a decent factory grind, nice and even. But let me show you something, because I got this knife, and this is one of those ones where I'm kind of bummed because I got to sharpen it like pretty much right out of the box. It is kind of, I mean, it's cutting paper, no doubt, which you guys probably a lot of guys would consider very sharp. You can hear how loud it is, though. It's pretty loud. And then here's that paper I tell you guys, you know, this is a great gauge of how sharp a knife is. See what I mean? You guys saw how easily those other knives were cutting into this paper. It well cut it, but very rugged. Kind of hard to get engaged, even if I go at this angle. See what I mean? So this is a knife that is not shaving. If I scrape, it'll take some hair off, but you see how it grabbed my skin on the other ones? There's no skin here. This is literally straight out of the box, guys. I have not cut anything with this. So, yeah. That is not going to cut me. You guys can see I am pushing down. It's not going to cut me. So, in saying that, you can see it's not shaving. Well, kind of shaving still, but not really. It's more of a scraping shave. And then it won't cut this paper. So that's why I use this paper, guys, because it is a great gauge of what's something. Yeah, see, it is cutting. It's just, it's not as smooth as the other knives were. But yeah, that's kind of what Nero's talking about in his videos, where he says, just because it cuts paper doesn't mean it's sharp. You know, there's your proof right there. Just because it'll slice paper doesn't mean it'll cut you or shave. So that's why you hear Nero talk about that, and that's why you hear Super Steel Steve reiterate it, because you see a lot of guys cut paper, and I do it, to show you guys how sharp an edge is. But it's only really part of the sharpness. It's not really the whole story. Sometimes it'll cut paper, but it's not even shaving sharp. This paper is it's a good gauge of when something's shaving sharp. It'll usually cut pretty easily into it. So anyways, yeah, just another example. Because then this guy, I just got this guy. Yeah, very well done. Very well done. And this one's actually really sharp too. Very sticky. If you know M390 is like, it's like 20 CV, where it's a very sticky edge it gets. This is sticky. They did a very good job. Benchmade's nailing it on the last few knives I've gotten. But the centering's a little off on this guy. I know it's not about that today. That's not what we're talking about. So let me get into why I'm having this discussion. Knives like this. Yeah, this guy was sharp out of the box. It was sharp, I'll give you that. But a horrible, horrible factory grind, guys. Whoever got this thing in the factory destroyed it and went nuts and really just bummed me the fuck out. It was really bad, guys, because he took away all my blade. I got nothing left here. I had to reprofile it to this is about 17 degrees, and look how wide that bevel is. Holy shit. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, these are like, let me see, do I have any ones I've sharpened? This is like the same degree. Like half the width on that. Let me see, I have another one. This is like the same degree. So this one's actually, I think, even laid down a little more. So come on, guys. I mean, that is so thick behind the edge because they took away so much. Look at my plunge grind. There's like barely any steel left there, man. I'm ready to just send this thing back to Benchmade and be like, hey, I want a new blade. I could probably even bitch them enough to let them give me a new blade for free, but I wouldn't do that. I'll pay whatever they want. I just want a new blade. It's upsetting that I've sharpened this thing twice, and the life of my knife is just, it's diminished, and the sliceability and all that is just diminished because of a horrible factory grind. They went to town. This is one of those ones where I would have rather them just left it blunt and let me fucking sharpen it, because they just destroyed this thing. There's no blade left for me to sharpen. This is the same exact blade. Look how much more I have here. And this thing is extremely, like, I mean, you're talking night and day behind the edge. This thing's way thinner behind the edge. If you guys saw my Benchmade 940 video, you'll know this thing is way thinner behind the edge. So, This is where factory grind really does matter to me. This thing came sharp. I mean, it wasn't amazingly sharp, but it was sharp enough. But it just wasn't destroyed. You know, this thing might have been, this one might have been sharper when I first got it. But, I mean, it was immediately, I mean, who cares? Because it was just, the factory grind was just horrible. And he took so much steel away. Look at how thick that is. So, this is why factory grind does matter, guys. And I know people are like, oh, I'm going to sharpen it myself. Well, guess what? I have a lot of knives, guys. I mean, most of you guys out there do too. I get a lot for review, and I'm trying to, you know, go through knives to try and get these videos out for you guys. I don't have time to, like, pull a knife out of the box and just straight after I pull it out, sharpen it. That's the first thing I got to do is sharpen the knife. It's a knife. It should come fucking sharp. Ugh, I'm sorry, guys. It's just kind of, like, irritating that people would even say, oh, I don't care if it's sharp out of the box. Really? It's a freaking knife. It should be sharp. It should be sharp right out of the box. And they shouldn't have to. They do this all day. You know, the guy at the grinder, he's sitting there all day. All he does is grind knives. He shouldn't do this. I don't know what he was doing. And when he did, why didn't this blade just go in the freaking garbage? Why did this make it out of their factory? For me to have to do that to it to make it cut decently. I mean, yeah, this thing slices great now, but I had to put a 17-degree edge on it and make it look horrible. I mean, yeah, come on, guys. Especially when I'm bringing this guy in because this is a $42 knife. This is the factory edge on it. I mean, very well done. I mean, from back here all the way to the tip is very even. And very thin, very narrow grind. And that's because this thing is, God, dude, I've never had a knife this thin behind the edge, except for a kitchen knife, maybe. It's like 5 thousandths behind the edge. When I do the review of this guy, you guys will see. I mean, this could probably be dull and still cut through this paper because it's so thin behind the edge. Yeah, come on, guys. 42 bucks? They're nailing it. Nailing a factory edge. It may be burnt behind the edge. Yeah, it may not last as long as when I finally sharpen it myself, and it's not going to be as sharp as if I sharpened it myself, but it's good enough to take out of the box and go ahead and use for a while before I have to sharpen it. It's not something I want to do when I pull a knife out of the box. I'm not going to take this guy after I just got it and take it over and sharpen it. I mean, yeah, I could. I definitely could, but do I have the time and do I want to do that? Do I want to have to like pull my knife out of the box and go sharpen it? Hell no. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it should be necessary, actually, is what I should say. I don't think it should be necessary. And I went on a bit of a rant here, guys, and I'm sorry if it's longer than it should have been. But come on. I mean, these factory grinds should be they're doing this shit all day. It should be perfect. It should be just right, you know? I mean, and they do those types of knives all the time. So you should have, there should be no, you shouldn't even have to think about it. I mean, I think about what I did as a carpenter, you know, when I worked on stuff. And, I mean, if I did something all the time, there should be no, it should be like brainless. Should be brainless to grind these things and make them sharp. It should be like first try, sharp. I mean, burnt edge, yeah, I understand. You know, burnt or damaged, fatigued steel from using a grinder, I can understand. They're sharpening so many knives, I get it. You know, you can't be doing them by hand. You can't sharpen every knife by hand in a production shop. But, come on, it should be sharp. And it should be like, it shouldn't be ground to hell. It shouldn't be like this, you know? I shouldn't have no blade left when it gets to me. Should go in the trash if that's the case. Anyways, thanks for listening to my rant, guys. I hope you like these On My Mind videos. It's something a little different. Because there's been times in the past where I've kind of let something go by. I'm like, I don't want to make a whole video about that. But there are things I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, it's you know, it's something I want to try, just doing like short. This is not a short video. I know this is not a short video, but this one I kind of went on a rant. But they're a little bit shorter, and there's just what's on my mind and something that's I want to talk to you guys about. I want to hear your opinion. Even if it's ripping me a new one, I don't care. I want to hear what you guys have to say and see if you're on the same page as me. I mean, do you want to pull your knife out and first thing you do is sharpen it? I mean, is that what you want to do with your knives? Is that, maybe you guys have more time than I do. A lot of times I'll unbox a knife and go straight to work with that knife. And that is, I mean, I should be able to. Anyways, thanks for listening to me, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for your thumbs up. Thanks for your comments. Thanks. And happy holidays, everyone.